Hey, everybody, you're listening to the Total Basis Podcast. I'm your host, Felipe once again. Um, it's been a while. I don't remember the last episode I did. I don't know what we talked about last time. We did a Total Basis Podcast. That's our baseball podcast here. I know I've done other adventures, fantasy football, fantasy basketball. Um, bef- just kind of add a little bit more variety to my podcasting life here. Um, but I realized that the year's almost over. And by the way, I hope everybody's having a wonderful holiday season. I know I am. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas and celebrate the other winter solstice holidays, hope it has been one that has brought a lot of happiness and goodwill and all that good stuff that makes life worth living. I know, like I said, I had a great holiday season so far, and would like to wish everybody a happy new year too, especially those listening um, in the best baseball group on Facebook, Baseball Life. Big shout out to all the admins there, and a big thank you to all my podcast guests throughout the year. Yeah, this year was a really tough one. I don't mean to give you too much of a behind the scenes situation. But yeah, it's like who was I telling this to the other day? But I always envisioned that I would have a platform where all I would do is just kind of have a place where I can talk to my friends about sports. And then somehow this accidentally came into fruition because my old podcast partner decided to go on a very long hiatus from the show from the baseball show, and for good reason. I'm not going to get into too much detail there. It's a very personal, but yeah, he had his good reasons to do that. Um, so with that being said, it ended up proving to be difficult to align schedules and talking to a lot of people, trying to figure out who would be the persons that would do what episode and what podcast and and having to I pride myself that I can talk to anybody about anything, especially if it's sports related. But it's a whole different ball game when you're trying to constantly do that with different people, to do different things, different topics, different sports, and yeah, it just became a lot harder to do that for some odd reason. I guess not harder, but I don't know, tedious really. But yeah, it just became something that put it this way, it was more about managing people than it was about managing the damn podcast. I mean, and it's goes without saying that it's kind of like the same thing with fantasy, all the fantasy sports activities I do, whether it's fantasy baseball, football, fantasy basketball, whatever. It ends up just being more about managing people than it is about running the damn league. Making sure that everything's set up properly uh, uh, in the system, and no, it's really about just rallying the troops together and getting them to once again participate in these little silly games of ours. But we've talked about what the benefits and why we do this as a pastime, as a hobby, as a collective activity that we all do together, and a lot of it just it boils down to just having that camaraderie with people who have a shared interest. So, if anything, I hope that's the lesson that everybody else learned. Obviously we're trying to win. That goes without saying. You play to win the game. I know there was one controversy in fantasy football where these two jabronis decided that they were going to set an illegal lineup or whatever by not setting a lineup at all and just playing for the tie instead for the win. And I thought that was like the most loser shit that you can ever think of. And those two nitwits they would be eliminated from my league if I was running the show. Yeah, I got your money anyway. So if you want to act like a fool, then how about you two bozos miss the playoffs and you don't get any, and you get to pick 11th and 12th respectively? Because I don't deal with that nonsense. I don't play that stuff, man. I'm win by any means necessary. Old Al Davis, just win, baby. You play to win the game. That's like my favorite Herm Edwards quote of all time. Because yeah, you do play to win the game, no matter what. That's what that's what competition is. You know, it's about winning. One team has to win, and everybody else has to lose. That's what it really boils down to. But obviously, there's all these other qualities to it as well. Because there can only be one winner. There's also these other qualities that we look for. Sportsmanship, integrity, not being a jerk to your fellow competitors. So I'm grateful that I just been able to been lucky and fortunate enough to find a good group of guys and one woman, Erin. Shout out to my Canadian friend up there that I can count on to do this on a year in year out basis, and look forward to many many more years to come. As yeah, some people think I'm a little too obsessed with this. Ask my wife about it. She thinks I really, especially when it comes to fantasy baseball, I really go out of my way to go full tilt on it. But whatever. It keeps something to keep me sane, something to keep me looking forward to every year. And like I said, if I've said this before on the podcast, but if anything that can help me with my where I can translate and transpose things that I learned because of sports, especially fantasy sports, that I can utilize in my bread job, my career arc in real life outside of fantasy sports is a big W for me. So with that being said, unless I get off my high horse here, like I said, I hope everybody is going into the 2025 season having to accomplish a lot of their things that they were supposed to accomplish in 2024. But most importantly for us, we go into the 2025 season. It's game time, man. This is where the real work gets done. And let's get going. Let's share the screen here. Let's go with this one. I'm trying something different today, something simple, something hopefully that will be quick and easy. But this is the NFC. I forgot what it stands for. National Fantasy Championships? Is that what it is? National Fantasy Championships. Okay. Yeah. This is something I keep hearing about. I've never had a chance to look at it before. I never had a reason to check it out because I do my own thing. I do my own rankings. I do my own spreadsheets. I'm still working on mine. I'm still updating them, hoping that teams can kind of call a truce and just be done with all these transactions, all these free agencies and all these trades that are happening. I'm still trying to get into the minor leagues as well. I'm trying to do this big, ginormous minor league project, and I can't seem to get to it because there's all this player movement. So, but for the most part, for my cheat sheets for next season, I have my teams. I got the positions all stacked up. I got all players on rosters. How many hitter? Well, I'm not gonna get into it too much here, but I'm just waiting on Ariel Cohen's ADP ATC projections to just plug and play, and we'll be good to go there. So yeah, getting excited for another fantasy baseball season just around the corner. But I figure in the meantime, I wanted to finish the 2025 season. I'm sorry, the 2024 season of the podcast because we do seasons, and I think we're getting ready for season six, which is crazy to think that I've been at this for that long now. Let's see. So, for those who are on YouTube and you're able to see the rankings here, I have the catcher rankings. See, William Contreras is now the number one catcher in fantasy baseball. My guy, Yanir Diaz, is number two. But we're not going to talk about. And I'm sorry for those who can't see. Yeah, it's the the National Fantasy Championships website. This is like the the website that a lot of these other mainstream podcasts, for lack of a better term, these mainstream podcasts, fantasy baseball podcasts, always cite this time of year because I believe that this is the website, the platform that has all the early fantasy baseball drafts as they prepare for next year's season. And it seems like this is the one that gets cited every single time. So I figure, well, I might as well get into the act as well. So this is the one where like all my favorite podcasts. This is the website that they cite all the time for average draft position. So I'll be doing the same thing too. But I'm not. The goal is not to call out every single name at every single position. I've done that before in previous years. Always a fun activity, but I feel like those episodes go long because I'm trying to do so much in one episode. Trying because I since I only go once a week, and now at this rate, every 2 weeks at the earliest, and now we're getting to one month territory. But yeah, but I like to give the people as much information as possible. But no, one of the things I'm going to try to do for next year is just try to cut back on the info that I have in hand and just kind of narrow it down for the folks out there, which something I was trying to do this past year. Somehow those episodes still went a little too long. So I might just do a drop dead. Like, all right, after 55 minutes, that's it. It's over. I call it a night. So this is not going to be that episode. My intent is to go as long as I need to, but maybe for next year, I'll finally learn about brevity, something I've been trying to work on myself for many years now. But instead of working at the top 12, the top 15, top 20 catchers, or top 20 of at every position, I think what I'm going to do is just go. Well, you figure that at the very least in two catcher leagues, you need two catchers. So, you know, in a 12 team league, that's at least 24 catchers. So let's look at the players outside the top 25, like starting at number 26, right? And and this is basically a first reaction because I have not had a chance to look at this list. I don't do ADP lists. I don't look at them. I don't when I'm doing my rankings. I just do my own thing, like I said, and you guys will find out soon enough as the winter grows on. But so this is like a first reaction type of thing where I'm looking at ADP rankings for the first time at every position. I'm gonna look at rankings after top 20 after the 26th player of each respective position is called out. And the first one that I see here at after 26 that kind of piques my interest is Danny Jansen. Danny Jansen's always been a pretty decent hitter. I know that my old colleague Sean Flannery was very high on Danny Jansen all the time. Um, just like a guy with a lot of a high degree of contact skills, which has helped him. Well, not so much last year, but every once in a while he'll just he'll go into these spurts where he's hitting a pretty darn good batting average, right? Very good batting eye. Unfortunately, it doesn't translate into production, but I have to imagine that he has to be the number one guy in the Tampa Bay Rays roster at the moment. Because I know they have another dude. I'm actually pulling it up right now on the other screen here. They have another guy, and I always have a hard time pronouncing his name. I believe was it Ben Roars? Van? Ugh, sorry for butchering that name. All right. According to Roster Resource, the catchers are Ben Rortvedt and Danny Jansen. And like I said, Danny Jansen's claim to fame is that he has a really good batting eye. You know, he works the count. And last I checked, he had pretty darn good contact skills for a catcher. Last year, he finished at 80.7%, which that's the first time he's reached an overall. Oh, and this is either a StatCast plate discipline number. So I'll just go ahead and use those for the remainder of the show episode. That's the highest contact rate he's put up since 2019, 80.7%. Like I said, very patient hitter. He's not going to swing outside the strike zone, knows how to work the count. You're not going to force him to swing at a bad pitch. That's not his. Unfortunately, it doesn't translate into production. But he's been known to hit above 10 home runs. Not last year, though. Last year was not it, but he only played 94 games last year. But even in years past, in 2023, when he only played 86 games, he showed that he could hit 17 home runs. In 72 games, he hit 15 home runs, so that's always been his thing. Like, well, he's not going to hit for average, but he definitely has some power potential. And last year, that power kind of flamed out a little bit. Who was he playing for last year? Let me see. Partial seasons. Yeah, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, which I'm surprised he didn't do more damage with the Red Sox. Let me see. Yeah, he didn't. Wow. Um, but that's what happens. That's the risk you take with these guys who hit for very who are very patient and grind out at bats and wait for their pitch. They may never get to that pitch. But Danny Jansen in very limited amount of playing time has proven that he can be that guy who, at the very least, will hit over 10 home runs for you. So that's something to consider. If you're not impressed with that, then chase the upside and go after Harry Ford. You guys know me, man. I've sung Harry Ford's praises before on this podcast multiple times before, and yeah, to me, he's the guy. He is. The more I read about him, and I got a chance to watch him play at the World Baseball Classic up close and personal, so to speak. And he's that dude, man. He looks like a guy who has the intangibles. He has the power and speed potential, especially speed. He stole 35 stolen bases last year in Double A. Now, he might be starting off the year in Triple A, and he had a tough go in Double A last year as well. Yes, he posted a 377 on base percentage, decent batting eye, but the power went down, the batting average went down. I understand that the Double A league that the Mariners play in, I forgot which league they're in, but it's supposed to be a very tough hitter environment and more pitcher friendly. He still was able to contribute in other ways, especially with those 35 big stolen bases. So that is some hope for those Harry Ford truthers like myself here. But that would be one guy that if I'm going to be drafting this late, that's the guy I would like to stash if I have room for it, especially in two catcher leagues. Like I did the same thing with Ivan Herrera. Like even when he was in the minors, I held on to him for the longest time because I figured that good catching quality was going to be hard to find in waivers. When Ivan Herrera gets called up, he should be the best catcher for the Cardinals. Therefore, he should be easily one of my two catchers that I'm starting on a regular basis. I think you could do the same thing with Harry Ford if you play in those type of leagues, two catcher leagues. You're gonna need three catchers. You need three catchers in two catcher leagues at the very minimum, because you never know, right? It's like being in a two quarterback league. You need at least three or four quarterbacks in fantasy football. Same thing, same for those who play in two catcher leagues like I do. Yeah, Harry Ford, I think he's worth stashing away for the majority of the season, and hopefully ends up being a June call up for the Mariners. Now, the other question you might ask is, who would the Mariners be? Who do the Mariners have that would be blocking a Harry Ford? Cal Raleigh and Mitch Garver. Yeah, those are some good. Those are some good quality major league catchers. Cal Raleigh hit 34 home runs last year. Mitch Garver struggled, but he's been proven to also be a good source of power from that position as well, from the backstop position. He still hit 15 home runs in a down year last year. So, excuse me while I take a sip of my tea here. Mm. At the same time, yes, the power potential with those two catchers that I just mentioned, Raleigh and Garver, are there, but Harry Ford, that's your future. And I don't know. I just feel like that would be the smart thing to do. You don't want to make a mistake like you did with Jerry Kalenic, although some people, oh, sorry, just need to message someone really quick on the other line here. But anyway, yeah, Harry Ford should be the next guy. Still not impressed. I mean, Miguel Amaya, yes, he might be a thing. I know that Carson Kelly got signed by the Cubs as well, but I'm not giving up on Miguel Amaya quite yet. and as the 37th catcher being selected, that might be worth something. That might be worth, especially in two catcher leagues, that might be worth stashing away. Who else? Edgar Quero. Hey, the White Sox are in shambles, and that's all they have now. The White Sox, all they have now is just their prospects, and Edgar Quero is one of those prospects. He's one of those guys. Who would be blocking Edgar Quero? Yeah, I'm going off the rails here. This was supposed to be just quick and easy. I wasn't supposed to go too much in depth here. But what, Corey Lee, whatever. Matt Tice, they just got him from the Cubs in some sort of transaction. But Edgar Quero, so far in 2024, he was the 40th best prospect, and he's the number four prospect for the White Sox, who suddenly look like they have a respectable farm system again, kind of reminiscent of the Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Yohan Moncada, Lucas Giolito, and Michael Kopech class from years ago, and all those guys except for, well, I guess Robert and Moncada are still around, but they're shells of the former selves, man. It's such a disappointment how that all fell apart there. Caro, decent hit tool, actually a pretty darn good hit tool in terms of the ceiling, decent power tool as well. And last year for the White Sox, in both Double A and Triple A, 16 home runs. He had 295 in Triple A last year. So with an on base percentage of 382, but he did that in 26 games, 110 plate appearances. So probably another stop at Triple A is in his future. But there's nowhere else to go but up for Edgar Quero. I mean, he's gonna get a chance to be on the White Sox. They got nothing else to play for. You might as well call up the kid. Well, how old is he? He'll be 22 in April. You might as well call him up and see what you got there. Because the White Sox have nothing. I mean, what's the point of playing Corey Lee? I mean, Corey Lee should only be playing until like mid-May, and that's it. Matt Tice, we know what we get from Matt Tice. He's he's oh, he hits left-handed. Good for him. Who cares? He's not good. Might as well play your future. Get him the reps, get him the at-bats, and get him going. Because, like I said, the White Sox, no hope. So there you go. I gave you guys three catchers for the price of one, right? It was supposed to be just one player at every position, but I can't help myself. I mean, I love talking about these deep sleepers. So, okay, so let's go move on to first base. And it's the usual suspects: Vladimir Guerrero, Bryce Harper, Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson. Pete Alonso still has no team. My guy Josh Naylor goes up a few notches. I'm not gonna give up on Tristan Cassis. He's gonna be a guy I'll be targeting. Same thing with Vinny Pasquantino. Hell, Cody Bellinger at number 12 looks pretty darn good. Then you get to the Christian Encarnacion Strands, Michael Bush, even Ryan Mountcastle looks promising at this point, especially better than Nate Lowe, Jake Cronenworth. Spencer Torkelson is still a guy. I know he looks like he's the odd man out in Detroit, but you can't give up on a guy like Spencer Torkelson. So I'm not sure if I would trust him as my corner infielder, but definitely as a bench bat on fantasy teams because of the high upside. But no, we're looking at number 26 and beyond. Let's see. You got Tyler Soderstrom, who I'm not a fan of. Heimer Candelario, Spencer Horwitz, Jonathan Aranda. Believe he's Mexican, so I'll always support that guy. Ryan O'Hearn. None of these guys are doing it for me. Nolan Shanuel from the Angels. Pretty sure I butchered his name. Nah, this is kind of mid. I don't like this. Oh, okay. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So I talked about Davison de Los Santos, number 54 overall. There's your first baseman. We spotlighted him before on this podcast. But with all the moves that the Marlins made recently, it looks like Davison de Los Santos will be getting regular playing time. He's listed as the starting DH as of this morning when I was looking at it earlier today. And let's see here. Let's take a look really quick on the other screen. Let's make sure that nothing has changed since this morning because this is the time of year where things are just rapidly moving around. And as a number 54 hitter, I mean, you saw all these other guys. I mean, those other guys are not doing it for me, man. Okay, put it this way. For someone, if I'm looking for a player to start now from 26 and on, like these are like either potential corner infield position starts or just a big bat off the bench. I guess I would go with Spencer Horvitz. I just don't like the situation in Pittsburgh. Maybe Ryan O'Hearn, especially against, I believe he's left-handed. Last I checked, I believe he's a left-handed on the left-handed side of the platoon. But the problem is the Orioles, they have a bunch of prospects that they need to call up, and I just feel like Ryan O'Hearn is going to be the odd man out. There's Nick Prato, who we've been kind of waiting for him to do something in Kansas City. Maybe this is the year. I saw that he was on the bench at this point. And yes, Deyvision de Los Santos is the starting DH, right-handed hitter. We talked about him before, but let's talk about him again. We and I'm not too excited about Deyvision de Los Santos. I just like the idea of him getting all this opportunity. Let's see. Josh Bell just signed with the Nationals again, so he might be a guy you might consider. Wilmer, I've always liked Wilmer Flores, but limited expectations though. As a right-handed batter in San Francisco, you gotta know that there's it's a safe, decent floor, but that's all you're getting from the guy. Either way, in daily leagues, if he's facing a left-handed pitcher, I would start him without hesitation. Maybe Gavin Sheets from the White Sox. At least he'll provide some cheap source of power there, assuming that the White Sox still have him around that long. Juan Yepes is always an interesting person to have. Yeah, but if you're, I guess Spencer Horwitz would be the safe pick. But yeah, but as someone that got me is getting me excited is Davidson de Los Santos. Now, when I say excited, it's all relative, right? Like I said, I only like the situation that he's in, but everything about him just screams volatile, right? Normally, I don't go after these types of players, but he showed me something last year. Um, as he just hit everything in sight. Now, a lot of these other podcasts talked about how a lot of the leagues that he was a part of were pretty easy and, they weren't they were very hitter friendly. De Los Santos comes with a lot of red flags. He has a very low hit tool, but hit and low speed as well. So, I mean, he's lead-footed, Miguel Sano type of player. But that's what I mean, though. That's the power. Power, power, power. That's the name of the game that he displays here. Um, and in let's see, and oh my God, in three stops, he was with the Diamondbacks Double A, Diamondbacks Triple A before finishing out the year in Triple A with the Marlins. Let's see here. He hit 28, 28 plus 12. What is that? That's what was that 40? Can I math right? That's a lot of home runs though, man. That's a ton of home runs from a minor league player. I mean, we get excited when we see a guy hit 15 home runs in one stop, let alone in close to 15 home runs in three different stops, right? But yeah, 28 plus 12, I got to use a calculator. That's 40 home runs at three different stops. The strikeouts went up when he went to the Marlins, though. I mean, that's the other thing that we've noticed when we see minor league players get traded like that to a new team, that there's some sort of deficiency that goes with them. Like suddenly players that can control the plate are swinging and hacking at everything. Pitchers that can control their walks are now giving up more walks. So it's hard to tell what the reason for the drop in production was for Davis and De Los Santos. And I was singing his praises when when I spotlighted him in the podcast on the podcast earlier this year. And then I see that with the Marlins, he had finished with a 240 batting average, 284 on base percentage. But again, the 12 home runs and only 211 plate appearances. That's what travels here. But yeah, he had a hard time with the Marlins, and again, that's seems to be par for the course. But with the Diamondbacks, I mean, a 92.3 exit velocity in AAA with them, and a hard hit rate over 43 point at 43.5%, max EV of 116 miles per hour. I know that's like the thing that everybody swears by. Hey, well, he was able to go well above 115 miles an hour, so I'll go with that. But yeah, there's those strikeouts need to go down. Uh, need to go back to how they were in the low 20%. when he was at the Diamondbacks, and then he could be a viable potential young hitter. But there's a lot of red flags, and for good measure, he's only a 40 plus future value. Again, uh, I like what he did at the end of the year, especially with the Diamondbacks, where it was worth kind of monitoring to see what he can come up with if he can continue that role. But I do like the situation. I mean, the Marlins are going to give him every opportunity. If what I'm seeing on roster resources is correct, and assuming that he's able to just crush spring training, then this is someone that might be worth monitoring just because he plays on a really bad team. And they got nothing to play for. They got nothing to look forward to except for the idea that maybe Davison de Los Santos might be a thing for them. Maybe he could be something in their future. It's hard to get excited for a guy who kind of has a statistical profile of Miguel Sano, but at 20, how old I say he was? He'll be 22 in June. At 21 years old, I mean, it's worth it's worth keeping an eye on, I think. Especially when you saw who the other hitters were. So again, you guys got your safe hitters here, but excuse me. A lot of the other hitters, we all know who they are, right? We know who they are. We know what to expect. And you can go with Jonah Bride, his teammate. Jonah Bride is supposed to get playing time in Miami, and he had a pretty good showing last year too. Those are the safe options, but I got excited when I saw Davis and Los Santos' name. But I gave you a list of like six different first basemen, so you might want to go with those options. I mean, Spencer Horwitz, like I said, he might be the safe option before you hit number 30 or number 35 even. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. The Spencer Horwitz, Davis, and the Los Santos combination there. But yeah, for the high ceiling, let's go with Davis and De Los Santos as my first baseman to pick here. Let's move over to second baseman. And again, these are borderline middle infielders, middle infield slot position players, or just bench pieces. Usually from second baseman, we're looking at high batting average and maybe a yield of high stolen bases. And yeah, there's our guy, Spencer Horwitz again. We already talked about him. Speaking of the Marlins, Otto Lopez, David Hamilton can steal a lot of bases. I think I saw when I was doing my research earlier on about the Tampa Bay Rays, I saw that Jose Caballero actually had a pretty darn good year last year. Let's double check that. I mean, was I dreaming? What is wrong with me? Jose Caballero. Oh, okay. So he was supposed to start, but through all these acquisitions that the Rays have, I don't know, the roster resource now has him on the bench, along with Richie Palacios, who I was also getting excited for uh, when I was looking at him. But yeah, with all these moving parts, those two players are now bench pieces. With it's fine, and even Eloy Jimenez, yeah, I got to make sure I add him to my list of players on my spreadsheets to keep an eye on as well. He might be worth monitoring just because of what he's done before in the past. Excuse me while I take another sip here. Roster Resort has Christopher Morel at left field. Eloy Jimenez at one point was a left fielder. So you got two guys with two lead gloves out there. Jonathan Aranda, who now has to DH because they have Yandy Diaz at first base, and they have Junior Caminero, their hot shot prospect at third base. But this is going to be a team that's going to do a lot of moving around a lot. Johnny DeLuca is the center fielder, but I think I had Richie Palacios there when I was filling out my spreadsheets at the beginning of November or mid-November around thereabouts. But Jose Caballero, 28 years old, 44 stolen bases. Usually I don't care about stolen bases. I don't look at guys like that, but Caballero, he showed me something. Let's look at it. Let's do a deep dive on Jose Caballero as to why he might be someone worth picking up here at this late of this stage. 26 stolen bases in 2023, 44 in 2024. People keep telling me stolen bases are important. Strikeouts are a little concerning. The low on base percentage is very concerning. I don't like getting players with low on base percentage, especially if they can't even. post a respectable mark. I mean, 283 is just putrid here. But people keep telling me, "Oh, Felipe, your problem is that you ignore stolen bases." I will give him this: in 483 plate appearances, 139 games played, Jose Caballero almost had a 10 and 40 season, 10 home runs and 40 stolen bases. He had 9 home runs and 44 stolen bases, and he put up 24 doubles as well. Yay! So that's a thing. That's a thing. What else did he do that kind of I caught my attention? Not too much of anything else. Batted ball. He should be a ground ball hitter. He does a little bit of everything. He does hit more ground balls than anything else, but he's kind of even keeled in terms of line drives, ground balls, and fly ball percentages. Pulled the ball more a lot more last year, and I want to say that Jose Caballero is not the guy that I'm gonna put on my list here. I was just kind of curious to see what it was that I liked about him. He got more aggressive at the plate last year, hit for less contact, but that's because he was hacking at more pitches last year. I mean, people keep telling me it's all about the counting stats. So last I checked, 10 home runs, 40 stolen bases. Isn't that what people want? But anyway, Spencer Horwitz, I think that's another safe choice here. I'm not sure if you're going to get the stolen base potential. Last I checked, he's not much of a base stealer, right? Right? Horvitz, no, that he kind of came back. Uh, he did pretty well in late last year with the Blue Jays. Yeah, no stolen bases, 12 home runs. Did a wonderful job of controlling the strikeouts. I like what Otto Lopez did with the Marlins last year. Michael Massey's always a guy I keep an eye on. David Hamilton steals a lot of bases. Vidal Brujan just got picked up by the Cubs this year. He'll be on their bench, it looks like, for the time being. Nicky Lopez is not with the White Sox. I forgot that he was on the team. Nick Gonzalez is always a guy, former first round pick. I keep an eye on, but not not very high on him. But yeah, I think the guy to get here. Oh man, as much as I really don't like Thairo Estrada. But again, he just keeps showing me things, right? Thairo Estrada, now with the Colorado Rockies, he was a pretty intriguing choice as a member of the Giants the last couple of years or so, as a potential guy who can get 10 home runs and 10 stolen bases from the middle infield position. And when we're talking about this late in the draft, the picking should be slim to get those power speed combos. And again, it's all relatives. I know 10 and 10 is not something to be bragging about. Last year was really down for him though. 217 batting average, 9 home runs, 2 stolen bases, which was not good. Uh, I'm surprised when he got to 2.6% walk rate. I mean, he was so bad last year. I don't know what the deal was last season. If he was pressing or if he knew that he was playing for next year's contract. I don't know. I'm not in the clubhouse, so I just know that in years past he was able to post respectable batting averages with the Giants. Ever since he's been with the Giants, he's always posted around, at the very least, a threat to hit for 270. Excuse me. Got something caught in my throat there. He's always been a guy that can, at the very least, be a threat to hit for 270, despite the fact that he posts low on base percentages. But low on base, let's look at it. 315 in 2023, 322 in 22, and 333 in 2021. So if he can post an on base percentage around thereabouts, like, be 315, 310, 315, 320, I'm okay with that. Uh, this late in the draft at number, what pick, as the 51st second baseman. Uh, uh, and now he's playing with the Colorado Rockies. And the price is right. I mean, usually the Rockies players are you got to pay for for that premium, whether they're good or bad. You just got to pay for it. This is why I don't ever have Rockies players, because I refuse to reach for those guys. I'm not reaching for any Rockies players. But with Thairo Estrada, I mean, I have to. 51st second baseman being selected according to average draft position at the NFC. Is he starting? Yeah, batting number 7 so far. I mean, they just gave him the contract. What was the deal? Oh, this is not the. Oh, right here. Wait, is that it? No, not it. Sorry about that. Uh, oh yeah. Well, I think I can just on the other screen. I'm on Fangraphs, and I'm trying to remember if I can actually. Okay, 1 year, $4.7 million is what he's signed up for. He'll be a free agent again next season, so he'll have that motivation. 94 games played at second base. He'll be starting, and who's he holding off? Maybe Greg Jones, maybe Kyle Farmer, who 34 years old. Come on, guys. Hunter Goodman, nah. Hunter Goodman at the 190 batting average. Come on. I'm excited for Thairo Estrada. This is a very good opportunity. He could be the next Ezequiel Tovar. I think that's what I told my the chat in the on the in the fantasy baseball podcast league is, oh, so the Rockies just wanted to double up on Ezequiel Tovar. Ezequiel Tovar has always been a guy that you see people getting excited for because he could be a 10-10 player, 10 home runs, 10 stolen bases. And what did he do last year? 26 home runs, only six stolen bases. 295 on base percentage. Nah, bro. Nah, not my type of player. But Thairo Estrada this late in the draft. Make sure I write him down on the pen and paper here. Thairo Estrada is my picked to click here. It's the name to look out for. Was there any, unless there was somebody else here? Let's see. Where's my mouse? There he is. Nolan Gorman. Yeah. Can't give up on Nolan Gorman. Just the power potential is always going to be there. But unfortunately, so are the strikeouts. Ronnie Mauricio, former highly touted prospect for the Mets at one point. Ahmed Rosario, not forgot what the situation in Cincinnati is, but he might get some playing time. I don't remember. Edouard Julian, which is another guy you got to keep an eye on, but really it's very limited uh, upside because all he has shown me is that he understands the strike zone, so plate discipline, plate approach, has not really translated into much production of anything. Nick York is a guy I really like when he was with the Red Sox. I'm not sure how the Pirates are going to destroy him, but Orelvis Martinez, I believe that was the guy who got suspended recently, right? But I mean, the Blue Jays highly touted prospect, but I don't know. I would just keep an eye on him just because he was a highly touted prospect. But I remember looking at his stats from a year ago, and there were nothing to sneak. There were nothing to fall in love with. But you gotta you gotta keep an eye on him because he's a highly touted prospect, right? There's our guy Richie Palacios. We just talked about him. But yeah, I would say yeah, I'm excited that Thairo Estrada. Let's continue the discussion on Thairo Estrada. Let me just make sure I have his name highlighted here. Because who were the other guys I mentioned at the beginning of the second base list? Jose Caballero, Spencer Horwitz. Yeah, there's got some safe picks here. David Hamilton. That's a speed demon. So if you want just to rely on speed and go in that route, David Hamilton would be your guy for the Boston Red Sox. But let's concentrate on Thairo Estrada and why we like him so much. So yeah, the price is right. Plays for the Rockies. What else has he shown in the past here? Mm. He's trying to lift the ball more in the last couple of seasons. I mean, he's still primarily a ground ball hitter, but he's been trying to lift the ball more. Unfortunately, it has resulted in an increase in pop up rate. The number of times, the percentage of times that he'll be popping up. So that's not good. Yeah, and he's really trying his best to keep that pull rate up there above 45%. So he knows what works in this league, right? Like, at least what will keep him employed in Major League Baseball. So kudos to him for recognizing that, right? Here's the plate discipline numbers here. Yeah, very aggressive. He just keeps yeah, he's been getting super aggressive the last couple of years or so, just extremely aggressive with at the plate. Uh, so in the years past, he was able to control his strikeouts because he was able to hit for a lot of contact, which last year was no exception in terms of overall contact. Unfortunately, the contact outside the strike zone fell below 60% for the first time since 2021, and he was not able to take advantage of. of a 92% inside the strike zone contact rate. Wow, that's the career high for him last year, according to StatCast. So wow, lots of things are happening here. But yeah, the contact rate, 80.5% is pretty healthy, but he was not able to do much of anything with that. So just a nothing hitter in San Francisco last year. But with the Rockies, however, I at the fifth again 51st spot at second base, that might be worth monitoring and taking a flyer on, especially if you can't get a hold of any of those other second basemen I just mentioned. Yeah, so kind of like when all else fails, just break open the Thairo Estrada box. Let's move over quickly to shortstop. Try to move fast here. There should be a lot of crossover. Jose Caballero once again. Hassan Kim, he's just 1 year removed from kind of being a quasi MVP in terms of I don't know, war, I guess. I don't know. I just know that in 20 he had a pretty darn good year in 2023. Really was disappointing in 2024. So a big might be a bounce back candidate, but we know who Hassan Kim is. We've also heard about Jordan Lawler, who we're kind of waiting on. I know injuries have taken a toll, and the fact that the Diamondbacks are in win now mode. There's Vidal Brujan once again, who just got picked up by the Cubs. Max Muncy, no, not that Max Muncy, the other Max Muncy, the Athletics Max Muncy, Sacramento Athletics. Marco Luciano, who we can't give up on quite yet, but I don't know. I kind of been losing patience on him. No, 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 no. The guy, I mean, unless you're a Brooks League believer like I am at number 51, but no, the one guy that sticks out like a sore thumb is Luisangel Acuna. Luisangel Acuna at number 32, which that's probably going to be the cheapest you're going to get him at that point. Uh, Again, it's the name recognition, it's the Mets factor as well. When you're dealing with these New York teams, you got to pay that premium because it's a New York team. There's just more of them. I know it's a higher premium for Yankee players, but you got to account for them. I mean, I do. I have to account for that premium for me playing with like six different Mets fans in my baseball life league. So definitely for sure, Luis Angel Acuna, the brother of Ronald Acuna, has shown the ability to be this really exciting power speed combination, exciting infield outfield prospect. Um, right now, he's blocked by Francisco Lindor at shortstop, Jeff McNeil at second base. Maybe that might be his in, right? That might be his in to be getting regular playing at time. But Jeff McNeil is a very pesky hitter, man. The potential to hit for a high batting average. I know last year he did struggle. Nothing to brag about last year, but he's shown in the past that he has a really good understanding of the strike zone, very good plate approach. So it's not an easy it's not an easy overtake by Luis Angel. But if there's gonna be, relatively speaking, a spot for Luis Angel, it's gonna be Jeff McNeil. I'm pretty sure Luis Angel, Luis Angel Acuna. Come on, man. I'm Latino. Come on. Gotta let that Spanish. But see, I don't do that. It's something that's something I got into an argument with my cousin from Mexico who is visiting us. Actually, he's actually staying here for the foreseeable future. But like, he'll come up to me. It's not like Felipe. It's not Luis Angel Acuna. It's Luis Angel Acuna, cabron. Like, shut up. I don't like. I'm like a tank, man. If I'm in English mode, I'm only doing everything in English, and I'm in Spanish mode. I do everything in Spanish now. But I don't know. I just, for some reason, it just stuck out like a sore thumb. I was calling him Luis Angel. So anyway, Luis Angel Acuna, since I don't do Spanglish. Luis Angel Acuna. That might be his way in through second base. Otherwise, he could go through the Jose Siri route at center field, or where else? Right field. Oh, no, yeah, you're not gonna overtake Juan Soto unless you move him to left field. But then you got Brandon Nimmo there. Can Luis Angel play third base in the event that Mark Vientos the strikeouts are not controllable anymore? We shall see. But that's the thing about these athletic type of players, like Luis Angel Acuna, is that you could modify them everywhere. He's like a joker. He's like a wild card right there. Mostly, he played 12 games at shortstop last year, but once again, 45 future value. hit power is a work in progress, but the power and the speed is what it's all about. It's 50 out of 60 field rating according to Fangraphs. So a lot to like here. So we're not gonna look at his major league numbers, but last year in AAA, 131 games, 587 at bats, plate appearances, I should say. Only 7 home runs. So that's so much for that power speed combination. But yeah, the 40 stolen bases. This is a very exciting player, you guys. Unfortunately, it came with a 258 batting average, 299 on base, and a 355 slugging. So these are not the triple slash lines we would be hoping for. 2023 in Double A with the Mets. Yeah, he kind of has been struggling ever since he got traded from the Rangers to the Mets. Again, we've seen that all the time though. With these players, these highly regarded prospects, they get traded to a new team and they just start struggling. Because with the Rangers in Double A as a 21-year-old, 7 home runs in 84 games, 42 stolen bases, does a wonderful job of controlling his strikeouts. Does enough to force walks, especially with the Rangers. Somehow, I don't know. Maybe it's the Mets telling him to be more aggressive because the walk rate has been dipping ever since he made it to New York. And his power has just kind of disappeared with the Mets. I don't know what that's about. But all I keep seeing is the numbers that he posted with the monster numbers that he posted with the Rangers with the 315 at average, the 377 on base, the 453 slugging percentage, the WOBA of 376, 121 WRC plus in Double A Texas. So that's and you could tell me, well, that was his second stint. Now, everything's a lot easier when it's your second stint. Yeah, that's a good point, but you can't deny that the production was there. That at one point that the power speed combination was there. Well, 7 home runs is not a lot. You're right. Yeah, I'll give you that. But let me see here. 2023 Texas Rangers, 25 doubles. That's something, right? 25 doubles in 2000 in 2023. That's in 362 at bats. So let's see, quick math. 362 divided by 20. What did I say? 25 plus the 2 triples. But yeah, that's a double every 14 at bats. Like we love it when we see 1 home run every 14 at bats. So yeah, I love to see a double every 14 at bats. That's good. I think so. I would like to think it does. But anyway, I think Luisangel is worth monitoring. I really do. He's a player, especially when you compare him to who the other guys around him are. Like Vidal Brujan. Uh, we might have seen the best of him, and it's all downhill from him. But at the same time, that's intriguing to look at because of just how highly regarded he came in as a Tampa Bay Rays farmhand. David Hamilton, yeah, I'd probably get him, but you're not getting any power from David Hamilton. Last I checked, it's all stolen bases with that guy. Just double checking that because last I checked, and I haven't checked on David Hamilton's numbers in a long time, but when I was looking at him, it was all speed and nothing else. Yeah, 57 stolen bases at AAA Boston in 2023. He did hit for 8 home runs, so maybe that's the promise, right? Okay, he's in AAA Boston in 2023. He did hit for 17 home runs. Okay, so maybe that's the power speed combo guy that we're looking for. Maybe I stand corrected, but I know that that wasn't his MO. Yeah, I mean, he had 30-30 grade power, game power, 40-40 raw power. It was all about hit tool and speed for this David Hamilton character. So I wouldn't depend on David Hamilton a little, like not too much to provide that home run power. Well, Felipe, you got excited about doubles power. Yeah, that's not him. That's not David Hamilton. 16 doubles and 393 at bats. That's not 25 doubles. That's only 16 doubles, right? So how much is that? 393 divided by 16. Yeah, that's a double every 24 at bats. I mean, it's okay. It's not nothing to scream about. So, but I'm not, and that's not to say that I don't like David Hamilton. I really do. I really do like David Hamilton. He's a guy I keep track. He's on my radar just as a deep sleeper. But if we're gonna chase upside, after the 25th second baseman is selected, Luisangel is the guy, I think. All right, let's go over third base here. See J Ram at the top of the list here. Hmm. As well as he should be. Jordan Westberg is the guy I get excited about. When if I can't get J Ram, I get excited about Jordan Westberg. Junior Caminero is a guy I've always been high on. I'm not a fan of Luis Rengifo. Not sure what the appeal there is. Eugenio Suarez, as much as I bashed him like one in 2023 or 2024, I definitely depended on him in the 2024 after the All-Star break. Man, he just hit the crap out of everything in sight. So not a fan of Alec Bum. But anyway, let's move on. After 26, I'm never gonna give up on Noelvi and Marte. Never. Same thing with Joey Ortiz. I can't give up for different reasons. But we've already talked about those guys. I feel like we should. I mean, Kobe Mayo. I mean, yeah, that's a guy that we constantly talk about. So we should already know. Maybe Cam Smith. We'll see. Oswald Peraza. That's another guy I can't give up on. I mean, he's on the wrong team with the Yankees, but one of these days he's gonna get traded and he's gonna get the playing time that he deserves. That I think that he deserves. E. Guy Rosario. I remember my guy Sean used to talk about him all the time. Uh, No, none of these guys are doing it. Brian Ramos for the White Sox, maybe. Miguel Vargas, that's another guy I kind of keep an eye on. I didn't realize Osvaldo Cabrera was also considered a third baseman as well. Yohan Moncada, ugh, geez, how the mighty have fallen. Went from the number one prospect in all of baseball at one point of his life. Now he's the 63rd best third baseman at according in 2025 ADP. That's just brutal, man. Yeah, let's go with let's go vanilla here. Let's go Noelvi Marte because he is someone that his stock has fallen drastically because of the PED suspension from last season. Plus the Reds are just loaded everywhere. I'm not saying that they're good everywhere. They're just loaded everywhere. And Noelvi Marte could either play third base, shortstop, maybe anywhere in the infield. Well, okay, you can't play shortstop because Ellie De La Cruz is there. Matt McClain should be coming back healthy finally, and he had a really good 2023 year from what I remember. It was so good that he was like top five second baseman, top five shortstop. So there wasn't, you know, it wasn't like that we kind of forgot about him. He just got hurt. Yes, the 2023 in only 89 games, 16 home runs, 14 stolen bases. That is what dreams are. 357 on base percentage with along with a 290 on batting average. So Matt McClain is a guy I'm looking at, man. Matt McClain is a guy I will not hesitate to put him in my starting lineup at second base or shortstop. At DH, we got Christian Encarnacion Strand. At first base, you got Spencer Steer. At third base, you got Jaime Candelario. There's no room at the end. They should make room at the end for Noelvi Marte. Noelvi Marte is not even listed on the bench. He's like who's better than Noelvi Marte? Cooper Bowman? Come on. Santiago Espinal? Come on, no. This is temporary. Noelvi Marte should be on the big league roster sooner rather than later. I don't know what the holdup is. But again, his stock fell because of the PED suspension. But there's Noelvi Marte at AAA on the other screen. You guys can't see it. On the other screen, he's at AAA. He did struggle mightily last year. I will say that. When he came back, he did not. It wasn't the triumphant return that I was hoping for. Like there was nothing there. So that which is unfortunate, but I still believe in the kid. I believe he's 23 years old, 50 future value. That doesn't go away after one bad year where you kind of been ousted and chastised and ostracized and exiled from playing time. But in 2023, was able. I mean, the walks are nothing to scream about, but that's not why you get a guy like Noelvi Marte. He was able to control his strikeout. I mean, he in 2023, he showed me something, man. He looked like a 10-year veteran out there. And it took him a while to get rolling, but man, 316 on average, 366 on base percentage. So the low strikeouts actually resulted in production. Three home runs and six stolen bases in only 35 games. And then last year he did four home runs and nine home runs, but unfortunately he did that with double the playing time. Struck out 31% strikeout rate last year. The power got sapped. Everything just went to crap last year. 549 ops. That's not gonna cut the mustard. Um, nah, but I think the 2023 version of Noelvi Marte is still a reality. We could still see him. Yes, there was a lot of flukiness to this 2023 campaign, but you know what? Sometimes you create your own luck. Yeah, and 2023 was a year where he was hitting everything up the middle. Last year, when he came back from the suspension, he was trying to hit everything more up in the air, and he was trying to pull the ball more, which is not going to work. What was his launch angle? Was there a difference in launch angle? Let's go back to the StatCast again. I'm on the other screen. You guys can't see it. I'm on the other screen here. Um, maybe I should be sharing this. No, let's do that. Let's bring this stuff over here so everybody could see. So, got my roster resource page up here. The reason I don't like sharing too many websites or too many screens is because I feel like it might confuse you guys. But yeah, let's take a look here. Here we are. Launch angle. See, this is really fluky right here. But I mean, that would explain his 50% ground ball rate in 2023. He tried to hit the ball with that traditional launch angle that it seems like every team is looking for. It didn't create any results. Hit for less hard hit rate, less barrels. So hopefully he can, yeah. I mean, we want to see something along the lines of a 10-degree launch angle thereabouts, maybe 5 degrees sometimes. That I've seen that number be successful. And again, this doesn't tell you the whole story. You got to kind of couple that with the batted ball data that's below on the Fangraphs page. And I mean, the 11.4 launch angle, it does kind of explain why the increase in the fly ball rate. But again, it just didn't give you much in production. Let's go. My favorite thing to look at is the plate discipline. Yeah, he was pressing more. He was more aggressive. He was trying to pull everything lesser contact, more aggressiveness. Sometimes that works out for some players, like a Julio Rodriguez, where he is hyper aggressive and he'll do a 68.5 or 68.9%. Same thing with Luis Robert, like less than 70% contact rate, and it works for them sometimes, not always, but sometimes. But yeah, more swinging strike rates. So yeah, everything about Noel Marte went up, but yeah, as I'm not gonna give up on him. 26, that's a sweet spot. If you don't, yeah, after all these guys are gone, the Connor Norbys of the world, Norby comes with high strikeouts too. Isaac Paredes also kind of was a letdown last year. After after I sang his praises and I even practiced what I preach and try to get him in as many leagues as I could last year, definitely was a disaster in points leagues, as he just did the bare minimum. But yeah, hopefully with the Astros he could bounce back. Like Christopher Morel, who he's up and down, man. He can't be trusted. Yeah, this is like this section, I would say, after 21 is full of red flags and a lot of question marks. Ryan McMahon is such a frustrated player to I would not be happy if I had Ryan McMahon. So my thing is you can skip on all these guys, but then there's the high upside in Noelvi Marte. It's still there. It's still worth mining. It's still worth keeping an eye on. And if not, then Joey Ortiz. I'm a big fan. Safe floor, but not as high as upside. Not if at all. I still got to figure out who this Matt Shaw person is. I'll be honest, I did not get a chance to look too closely. I was actually looking to see this morning, and I kind of ran out of time before I had to go into my bread job. You can't give up on Kobe Mayo, but we all know who Kobe Mayo is. You know who Kobe Mayo is because I kept talking about him nonstop at every chance I can get in the last couple of years. I drafted Kobe Mayo in every single one of my leagues. I at one point had Kobe Mayo in all three of my leagues, even the non-keeper ones. So yes, Kobe Mayo. I'm not gonna give up on him. But that seems like an easy choice. And also, Novi Marte, there's some power speed potential there. And that's what we want to see this late in the round. Some power speed potential. Let's quickly move over to outfield. And I think that would be a good place to stop at the outfield position. So for this one, we can't do top 25. You're gonna need three outfielders, right? So 36. Let's say every team is going to be drafting four outfielders. So let's go. That puts us at 48. Let's go outside of the top 50. Let's go at 51. Let's go. Let's start at number 51. You got Victor Robles, Alec Burleson, Cedric Mullins, Jorge Soler, yada yada yada. Evan Carter, Nolan Jones, Jake McCarthy. Yeah, this is kind of gross. Roman Anthony, that's a highly touted prospect, but it's not the guy I'm kind of looking for here. And I'm just looking for one outfielder because, this is gonna be your fifth outfielder, or maybe a sneaky fourth outfield bench spot outfielder, so to speak. Or if you're really, focusing on other positions, are one of these guys gonna kind of like what I did with Jackson Churio and James Wood last year? I kind of got away with murder there, en route to a second place finish, but obviously the number one team in the regular season and the Baseball Life League, just trusting on guys like James Wood and Jackson Churio to figure things out. I don't even know how I survived with such a putrid outfield, honestly. But Jose Ramirez, man, that's the power of Jose Ramirez. When you have a Jose Ramirez on your team, anything is possible. So, and my pitching was pretty darn good too last year. But so pitching and Jose Ramirez got me through a really crappy outfield, as well as Trey Turner being out for a long period of time, and it was a mess, man. It's just anyway. That's last year. Let's move on to the future. Lars Nootbaar, Jordan Walker, Heston Kjerstad. Yeah, some good guys here, but are they worth mentioning in this realm? That's always the question. Michael Conforto, that's kind of interesting, but not someone I'm excited for. Weston Wilson, last I checked, had a really surprising year last year, coming off the bench. So he might. Robert Hassel III. Wow. We'll see. We'll see if this is the year he puts it together, man. He's kind of been a disappointment last I checked. He was such a disappointment. I kind of gave up on him. So, hmm. If I remember correctly, him, Robert Hassel III, and James Wood were part of that Nationals trade that got uh, part of the Juan Soto deal, which I guess if depending who you ask, I guess they won the trade. Maybe we'll see. James Outman, which is the worst name for a hitter. Outman. Hell no. I want him to be safe, man. Mm, no, these guys aren't doing it for me. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Connor Joe. Nah, not the guy. Not the guy that I'm looking for here. This list goes on forever. List goes on longer than the other ones. Oh my goodness. But nah, maybe Jesse Winker. Oh, no, not Owen Casey. Victor Scott the second might be a stolen base potential person, but not someone I'm really too excited about. There's speaking of stolen bases, how the mighty have fallen. Esteury Ruiz. Oh man, everybody was crying. Was crying poor. Oh my goodness, why are they doing this to Esteury Ruiz? It's not fair. He's not that good. He's just it's not that good, you guys. Yeah, stolen bases are gonna be there, but everything else is lacking. All right, let's make a decision. Let's make a judgment call. It'll have to be someone after the 51st outfielder was selected. And yeah, Byron Buxton. Wow, how the mighty have fallen. Mm, Jung Hooley. Yeah, I guess. Let's go with the prospect. Roman Anthony, who I was able to pick up in the in my baseball life league. And I think I also have him in other leagues as well. I forgot. In maybe I have him in my points league as well. But definitely in the baseball life league where we have five protected slots for minor league players. I think I might have got him really late last year, Roman Anthony. So, well, first and foremost, outfielder, who is he gonna have to battle? Sedana Rafaela? That's that might be a possibility. Jaron Duran? No, you're not gonna overtake Jaron Duran. Weiler Abreu? Maybe you can. Yeah, man, these guys are not set in stone, these outfielders for the Red Sox. So there's hope that maybe Roman Anthony will find playing time on a regular basis at outfield. Only 21 years old, the 11th overall prospect in 2024, number two for the Red Sox. There it is. Uh, Decent hit tool, actually pretty darn good hit tool. Really good power, so we like that already. Speed. This guy's jack of all trades, but again, only 20 years old. Will be 21. Left-handed bat, 21 in May. So he might be a little too young, but he's already up in AAA. So that's why I'm really hopeful that we might see him sooner rather than later. Let's see what he did in AA. Um, 15 home runs, 16 stolen bases. I'm telling you, man, this is what we love to see. We love to see that. Uh, yeah, I can live with the 25.5% strikeout rate. Really, really decent, more than decent, really good triple slash line. Uh, what what about AAA last year when he got called up for the last 35 games of the year there? Three home runs, five stolen bases, and got his walks up, his strikeouts down. Power was kind of lacking, but it's okay. Slugging percentage of 519. So does that mean less home runs but more doubles? Let's find out. Where are we? So 2024 AAA, 12 doubles and 131 at bats. Not Yeah, oh my goodness, that's almost a double every 11 at bats. So the power is there. That's where the 519 slugging percentage probably comes from. Statcast. Oh, we got Statcast numbers in AAA. Okay, okay, 88 miles an hour. Okay, I mean, that's not too impressive. But the 45.1% hard hit rate is. So, oh, we got batted ball data too. Oh yeah, ground ball. But when you have a speed like that, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter what the ground ball rate is. 51.5% is really high. But if he's fast, then yeah, you got to take advantage of that speed. He's been trying to pull the ball more too, to show that he can hit the ball with authority. So that probably is reason enough to leave him at AAA. But that's okay. I mean, the price drop with the price drop, that means that you are able to get him late in the draft and just stash him away, and hopefully he gets called up by late April, mid May, in time for him to going out to drinking parties. No Diddy. Um, they don't do plate discipline here, do they? Oh yeah, they do. Okay, look at this. Very patient hitter. Only a 37.6% swing percentage. Decent contact skills. There's a lot to like here. There's a lot to like here with Roman Anthony. So yeah, I am confident that at number, oops, where were we here? As the 64th best outfielder taken here, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, and I feel confident on that pick. That's the type of pick that we're looking for. Go pitcher. So I don't know. My one league, we get seven. We have to start seven guys. I figure that we need everybody needs at least maybe 10 or 11 pitchers. Let's do, how much is that? 10 times so 120. So let's go. What happens after pick number 121? Who is there a pitcher? There should be a pitcher. Jeff Hoffman, I believe, is still available. Ryan Nelson, who is now no longer has a starting rotation according to roster resource. Clay Holmes might be a starting pitcher. Eric Fedde show that he belongs in Major League Baseball. I got some decent names here, really, but let's make it challenging for ourselves. There's our guy Hayden Birdsong. Maybe this is the year he puts it all together. Now let's get creative here. Let's really wow you guys. Let's wow myself. There's Dustin May. Yeah, can't give up on him. But we know who he is. Christian Scott. Last I checked, Tommy John surgery, or there's some elbow issue, I believe, with Christian Scott. Not Anthony Bender. Joe Ross is still in the league, which is really surprising me. Dane Dunning, we know who he is. Not much of anything there. Looks like they're mixing in the relief pitchers as well, obviously. Micah Bell, him and his high ass walk rate. Daniel Espino depends on the injury reports. Daniel Espino, the Cleveland Guardians, can't give up on him too quickly, but man, that's those arm problems, man. They're just unfortunate. Brock Burke. Was he the guy with the from the Rays that we were talking about? Let me double check on the other screen here. Brock Burke. Because we had an episode, we talked about a guy, a left-handed pitcher, I believe. There he is, Brock Burke on the other screen. Oh no, he's been in the league since 2019. Where did he come from? Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from? Brock Burke, Burke, Burke. Rangers. Oh, the Rays. That's right, the Rays. But no, that's not the same guy that we were talking about. Okay, never mind. But yeah, left-handed pitcher for your Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Southern California, Orange County. Jordan Montgomery, Clayton Beeter. Nah, these names aren't doing it for me, man. Uh, yeah, if you have to pick after the 120, maybe Eduardo Rodriguez, but we all know who he is. Dude, Joe Musgrove. Oh, he's injured though. So is Christian Javier. A lot of injured guys have fallen. Logan Allen, boy, oh boy, we were so high on him. And Trevor Bauer. Oh man, there, yeah, Trevor Bauer. Let's go with him. No, I'm joking, but no, seriously, you should be targeting Trevor Bauer in very deep leagues just in case, because you never know. You never know. Maybe Major League Baseball will pretend that nothing happened. Ryan Weathers. Why is he ranked so low? That's criminal. But we talked about him all. Well, I guess we talked a lot about these players I've mentioned so far. What's up with Ryan Weathers though? Why the no love for Ryan Weathers? The Marlins do have a lot of pitchers, but at 270, boy, that doesn't sound right. Let's close that out. Oops, I said close that out. Ryan Weathers. Yeah, number three starting pitcher. He did pretty well last year, I thought. Is that our guy? Is that who we're gonna end the show on? This a guy that we started the regular season in April. We started talking about him. We're gonna end the show, the year, season five of the pod. Are we on season five? I forgot. Season five of the podcast. We're gonna end it with Ryan Weathers and Reed Detmers is there as well. I'm kind of tempted to just end it with Ryan Weathers because he should be ranked much higher than this because he showed that he belongs on our starting rotation last year. There's Dre Jameson at number 286. Yeah, no, I think that's the way to go. Let's go. Let's do this. Ryan Weathers, I wrote it. I wrote his name down already. Ryan Weathers, left-handed pitcher from your Miami Marlins, and as long as he has a rotation spot, I know that I could have sworn on a recent episode of the Rates and Barrels podcast with Eno Saras and DVR, Darren Van Riper, that they were talking about Ryan Weathers maybe doing both the bullpen and the starting rotation, kind of being a Terry Mulholland type of pitcher. But nah, man. Let's see. Yuri Perez, he might be back by the summer, so you got to make room for him. But come on, you're gonna choose Max Meyer over Ryan Weathers? I don't, or Braxton Garrett? I don't think so. Who else did the Marlins have in their minor league system that we cannot have? We cannot be happy about Ryan Weathers. I don't know. These names don't do anything for me. Noble Meyer is way in high A according to roster resource. Nah, come on. Why no love for Ryan Weathers, you guys? 25-year-old. He just turned 25 years old. He's still young. Let's see what the prospect report said about him back in 2021. Decent fastball, good slider. Changeup was a work in progress. Only okay, so it's just a three pitch pitcher. Velocity fluctuation kept him outside of our 50 future value by 45 future value. But again, that's 2021. The command with the Padres was always decent. Yeah, I mean, okay. Okay, we're not gonna focus too much on what he did with the Padres because those were some growing pains and it's just not a good situation for the guy. I mean, the Padres were win now mode and they were trying to get him to be a ready starter in an environment in a Major League Baseball environment that just was not very friendly to developing starting pitchers because of COVID and all the other stuff that's happening, which the different podcast episode for a different time. Yeah, career high strikeout per nine, career low walk per nine. So I love that coming from a lefty. Yeah, okay, I got it. FIP, XFIP, all these other advanced ERAs don't like him. They think he's a fluke they don't believe in that 363 ERA. What was his BABIP? 276. Yeah, that's a little low. It's pretty low. But it's okay. If we're all about results, then this guy put up the results. What else did he do? Okay, the barrel rate's a little high. We can live with it a little bit. 38.2 hard hit rate. That seems to be about average. You try to maintain a high ground ball rate. Almost slide. Oh, there's an advanced ERA that likes him. The Sierra Skills Interactive ERA, 3.98. That's a thing. That's below four. So we're getting somewhere with this guy. I mean, of course, I always got to look at the plate this one. Okay, I can see. Okay, I see why. So you're not inducing a lot of swings, Ryan Weathers. It's still a respectable number, but yeah, this is a little concerning. 26.5% outside the strike zone swing percentage. I would like to be above 30%, as close to 30% or higher as possible. But to his credit, he career low in contact rates, especially outside the strike zone, and just overall contact rate of 76.1%. And just to give you an idea, what does it mean to have a 76.1% contact rate? Just let's look at the major league leaderboard in just a second here. I'm just trying to look at other things here. I mean, the what was this? The called plus swinging strike percentage went up, career high 27.3%. So I don't know if it's just an element of surprise happening here or what. What was the stuff plus? Okay, yeah, that's stuff plus is below 100. So yeah, we want that number to be above 100. So the doesn't like it. The stuff plus, the location plus, the pitching plus, they don't like any of it. The fastball is oh well, there's the slider, but usually when the slider is like the best pitch, that pretty much indicates that this pitcher probably belongs to be in the bullpen. What I say it was 76%? Oh, there it is. 76.1% overall contact rate. Among all starting, was it just starting pitchers? No, let's do as a starting pitcher. Because we don't have time for relief pitchers. We're gonna go to was it pitch level data? They changed this so much that now I don't know where anything is anymore. But here we are. I think we're on the right page. Let's go lowest to highest. 76.1% puts him at number 27, ahead of guys like Cutter. Top 30. Anytime you're in the top 30 of anything on the Fangraphs list, to me, it's a good thing. Ahead of Cutter Crawford, Luis Castillo, Brendan Pfaadt, Brady Singer, some established names there. Ryan Weathers was able to hold his own. You could say, well, all these numbers indicate that he's fluky, not reliable, not dependable, got hurt. So we don't even know if he has the arm stamina to go a full year yet. But you know what? Sean Burke was another good guy to probably mention. But I saw him way too late. But Sean Burke might be a thing for the White Sox. Same thing with Drew Thorpe, but it remains to be seen. So, but at 270, we saw the other names. They're not these guys. These guys aren't doing anything for me. Quinn Priester. How long have we've been waiting on Quinn Priester? Max Scherzer is getting up there in age. Edward Cabrera. Every time we think that he has made the turn in the right direction, he just comes back and disappoints. Jordan Wicks. We don't know what to make out of Jordan Wicks. It's love the stuff, but not the results aren't there. Kiter Montero might be a thing, but who knows? Especially with the Tigers being in win now mode. Uh, I'm good. I'm good with the Ryan Weathers love. And there you have it. One player at every position except for catcher, right? So let's go back a little bit here. Oh my God. I think I overdid it. But what was it, 270? That's a good even number. Pick number as the 270th best starting pitcher, or just pitcher overall. Ryan Weathers is the epitome of a deep sleeper. So we picked Danny Jansen just for the was it the contact rates and the home run power, I believe it was, or just the overall, just the good play discipline, which comes with a decent home run pop. So Danny Jansen was number 30. Harry Ford, your 31st best catcher, speculative pick there. And if you don't like any of those guys, there's Edgar Quero again with the White Sox. If I, man, I didn't mention a lot of White Sox players, but yeah, this would be the year to invest heavily, especially like in dynasty leagues, deeper leagues, in White Sox prospects. I think they're gonna you you're gonna see those guys flourish, right? Davison de los Santos was my first baseman here. What number was he? It's 54. That's a good number. Davison de los Santos at first base. Thairo Estrada, what number was he at? I think he was also at 50 something. Thairo Estrada. There he is, 51. Just writing this down. Luisangel Acuna, I think he was a little earlier than that, but for good reason. I mean, the name recognition, plays for the Mets, has shown in the past the power speed combination that we all are looking for. And, the Mets are in win now mode, but I could see Luis Angel. The more I talk, I think I just talked myself into believing that Luis Angel, when it's all said and done, will be getting everyday at bats for the New York Mets this season. How he's gonna do that, I have no idea. Noelvi Marte at number 26, and then I wrote down Roman Ant. Okay, so let's start over. Danny Jansen, Harry Ford, Edgar Carroll. I gave you a trio of catchers because pretty sure people were rolling their eyes when I mentioned Danny Jansen. Okay, you don't like Danny Jansen? Well, Harry Ford, Edgar Carroll. Davidson de los Santos, again, not a lot of red flags in his game, but I gotta love the situation in Miami. Like, it just seems like he's gonna get a lot of playing time. Let's turn this off because this might be distracting to people. All right, we're back to see my face. Uh, Thairo Estrada at second base. Love this again. Situation in Colorado. He might get at best 2020 next year. I really do believe that. Luisangel Acuna, again, power speed combination potential is there, high upside. Noelvi Marte at third base. We get, that upside, it's just hard to ignore. The potential is still there. And eventually he's going to work his way to get regular playing time in Cincinnati. Roman Anthony, I think there's a lot of avenues to get Roman Anthony regular playing time on this Boston Red Sox team. Has to be. And of course, we finished the show up the way we started the the regular season. I feel like with Ryan Weathers as one of the first players we mentioned to consider picking up off waiver wire in deep leagues. Same thing in deep drafts. Might be worth it as your 270th best starting pitcher available. Ryan Weathers might be that guy. And so that ends the season of this podcast. The next one, I have a couple of things lined up in the other sports for basketball and football. So looking forward to contributing there. Until then, I am Felipe. This has been a Total Basis podcast. Thanks to everybody who has been listening, who has been putting in their questions, who've been reaching out to the show for help to get their fantasy lineups intact. And again, just thank you to all the listeners out there and all the people who have watched on YouTube. Really appreciate it. The feedback, the comments, everything. Give us a follow on YouTube. We're part of the Life Group podcast there. So you can look for us there. Also on Spotify. I'm a huge Spotify fan, so you can definitely find us there. Uh, Again, under the Life Group podcast banner. So once again, I am Felipe. You were listening to the Total Basis podcast. Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Take care.